Okay, think about this for a second. You know when your phone magically identifies a plant from just a photo, or maybe even more impressively, how a self-driving car knows that's a person, not a parked car. Well, these really smart systems, the ones kind of quietly reshaping everything, they run on a secret ingredient, something critical we almost never consider, labeled data. So today we're doing a deep dive, really getting into the engine room of this whole AI revolution. It's a market that, yeah, might sound a bit niche, the data collection and labeling market, but believe me, it's powering so much around us. We want to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding its, well, frankly, explosive growth. And just so you know, all the insights, all the numbers we're sharing today, they come straight from some really comprehensive new research by Cognitive Market Research.
Hmm.
Now, to really get a feel for this scale here, just think about this. Only a few years back, 2021, the global market for this stuff, data collection and labeling, was worth about $1.4 billion. Okay, but get this, by 2025, just 4 years later, it had already rocketed up to nearly $3.7 billion. And the forecasts, looking out to 2033, they're just staggering. We're talking over $25 billion expected market value. That means a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 27% year after year. I mean, just try to picture that kind of relentless expansion. It's huge.
It really is. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, isn't just the size of the growth, the sheer scale. It's the why. Why is this market suddenly so absolutely critical? If you connect the dots, look at the bigger picture. This massive surge is being directly fueled by this ever-growing demand for high-quality, really well-labeled data sets. You have to think of this data as the essential fuel, the training ground for all the AI and machine learning models popping up across, well, pretty much every industry you can think of, from, the cars we'll be driving, the future of transport, to how healthcare gets more precise, to the shopping experiences we have in retail, and even the smart robotics showing up in factories and increasingly our homes. Because without properly structured, carefully labeled data, these sophisticated AI systems, they just can't learn properly. They can't evolve. They can't function accurately. It's basically the bedrock of their intelligence.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So let's unpack this. I mean, those global numbers are definitely mind-boggling, but you mentioned the why. I bet the regional stories behind the growth are where it gets really interesting. It's probably not the same everywhere.
Exactly. It's definitely not uniform. When we look at North America, for instance, it's clearly a major leader here.
Yeah.
The market there grew from, let's see, roughly $400 million back in 2021 to over $1 billion by 2025. And the forecast, it's expected to soar past $6.8 billion by 2033.
Wow. Okay, $400 million to over $6.8 billion in what, 12 years? That's a huge leap. What's really driving that kind of robust performance over there in North America?
Well, a lot of it comes down to the region's really strong tech sector, right? Plus, massive investments going into areas like autonomous vehicle research, advanced healthcare AI. Both of those fields are just insatiable consumers of high-quality labeled data. You can't develop them without it. The U.S. naturally is leading the charge, but Canada and Mexico are also showing, very strong, consistent growth too.
Right, right. Okay. And what about Europe? Are we seeing similar patterns there or maybe different things pushing the growth?
Europe's also seen really substantial growth, yeah. Their market climbed from around $340 million in 2021 up to over $880 million by 2025. And the projections there suggest it could hit almost $5.8 billion by 2033.
So again, more than doubling in 4 years, and then what, another six-fold increase predicted? That's still incredibly impressive. Which countries are really out front in Europe?
Indeed. The UK, Germany, and France are definitely key contributors. They're really pushing that market forward. But we also see really impressive expansion across Italy, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, and other European countries are steadily adding to the market's overall strength, too. It's actually a very diversified growth picture in Europe.
Okay. Now let's shift over to Asia Pacific because I hear that region is just, well, a powerhouse in this space. The numbers sound huge.
Oh, absolutely. Asia Pacific, it just rocketed from around $485 million in 2021 to nearly $1.3 billion in 2025. And yeah, the projection is hitting a staggering $9.2 billion by 2033. That makes it the largest regional market overall.
The largest, wow.
Yeah, and what's particularly striking about Asia Pacific isn't just the total size, though that's impressive. It's the sheer speed of the expansion. China has absolutely led the way there, largely thanks to its massive AI ecosystem and significant government support for AI initiatives. Japan is also showing incredible expansion, particularly in its strong suits like robotics and industrial automation. They need tons of labeled data for that.
Okay, but I keep hearing about one country in particular the real standout, maybe one of the fastest growth rates globally, has to be India, right?
Right.
Just how significant is India's piece of this?
India's growth is truly remarkable. You're right. I mean, while it started from a smaller base, maybe around $75 million back in 2021, it's projected to surge, absolutely surge, to over $1.7 billion by 2033. And this isn't just about, market size increasing. It's really a testament to its rapidly growing talent pool and often more cost-effective labor, which has made it a major global hub for data labeling services. But don't forget, countries like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, and the broader Southeast Asia region, they're also contributing significantly to this overall boom in Asia-Pacific. It's widespread.
It's fascinating seeing how those regional strengths really line up with different AI focuses. Okay, so moving south then, what's the picture look like in, say, South America and the Middle East? Still growing.
Definitely. Both regions are seeing substantial growth, although, yes, starting from a smaller base than North America or Asia-Pacific. South America's market expanded from just under $100 million in 2021 to over $260 million by 2025. And it looks likely to reach over $1.9 billion by 2033. Brazil is the largest player there, which kind of reflects its growing tech scene, and interestingly, its agricultural tech sector too. But Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're also making pretty significant strides.
Okay, $1.9 billion by 2033 is still a major market. And the Middle East, you said they're key to watch.
Yes, the Middle East is another really interesting region. It grew from about $47 million in 21 to over $127 million by 2025. The forecast there is for it to exceed $930 million by 2033. A lot of this growth seems tied to big smart city initiatives and government efforts to diversify their economies away from traditional industries, investing heavily in tech.
Makes sense. And which countries are leading that charge in the Middle East?
You see particularly robust growth in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE. Egypt and Qatar are also showing strong momentum. They're all really pushing digital transformation agendas.
All right. And finally, Africa. Often maybe overlooked, but steadily emerging, it seems.
Yes, absolutely. Africa is steadily emerging as a really vital player in this market, actually. It grew from around $40 million in 2021, reached over $100 million by 2025, and is projected to hit nearly $660 million by 2033. So while the numbers are smaller currently, it shows a very clear upward trajectory.
Any particular leaders there?
It seems Nigeria is really leading the charge, driven partly by its large population and, a growing tech ecosystem. South Africa is following closely behind. So, yeah, it's truly becoming a global phenomenon. Pretty much every major region is recognizing just how foundational this labeled data really is.
Okay, so just to quickly wrap up what we've covered in this deep dive, the data collection and labeling market isn't just ticking up. It's undergoing this, unprecedented surge. And it's happening everywhere, across every major region and sub-region worldwide. These huge numbers we've talked about, they aren't just figures on a page, right? They're a direct mirror reflecting how fast AI adoption is accelerating globally.
Exactly. That's the core of it. This entire massive expansion, it's all underpinned by that fundamental need, that hunger for high-quality, well-labeled data sets, the kind that can actually feed and train our increasingly sophisticated AI and machine learning models. It's really not just about scooping up vast amounts of raw data anymore. It's about the meticulous work of preparing it, making it smart, precise, and ultimately usable for these intelligent systems.
Which, kind of raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about. As this whole process of data collection and labeling becomes so central to building AI, what ethical considerations and what practical challenges do you think become really paramount for societies all over the world to grapple with in the years ahead?
Definitely something to think about. And just a reminder, all the data and the insights we've shared today in this deep dive are sourced exclusively from cognitive market research.
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're exploring a topic that's, increasingly vital for our AI-powered world, especially, for anyone looking for a shortcut to being truly well-informed. We're talking about the fascinating and rapidly evolving data collection and labeling market. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. We're drawing from excerpts of a recent report titled "The Evolving Data Labeling Market: Trends and Challenges." You see, accurate structured data isn't just important for artificial intelligence.
No, not at all.
It's the very bedrock, really, upon which these AI models are built. And we'll dive into why that's so significant. So with that context.
Yeah, let's dive into what's really driving this market forward.
Okay, so the primary force propelling this market is, It's undoubtedly the sheer surge in AI and machine learning adoption we're witnessing.
Absolutely. That's the big one.
Right. It's no longer a secret that high-quality data is the cornerstone for training effective machine learning models.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is how these services, which often seem kind of behind the scenes, they're directly fueling innovation across so many vital sectors. Just think about it. There was even a study suggesting that just a 5% improvement in data labeling accuracy, that can lead to something like a 15% increase in model performance.
Wow, 15%.
Yeah, for critical applications like autonomous driving, it's huge. Organizations from healthcare diagnostics to facial recognition, even fintech, they're all relying on vast amounts of precisely labeled data. High-quality annotation isn't just valuable, it's absolutely indispensable.
And it's not just about AI adoption itself, right? It's also about the sheer volume of unstructured data out there.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking massive amounts of images, videos, audio files.
Right, raw stuff.
Yeah, imagine trying to make sense of a library where all the books are just piles of loose pages.
Good analogy, chaos.
Exactly. You need a system to organize and categorize every single sentence. That's essentially what data labeling does for this unstructured data. It converts that raw, kind of chaotic information into structured formats that AI can actually understand.
Makes sense.
And this is critical for advanced applications like computer vision, allowing machines to see, and natural language processing, which helps them understand human language. Beyond that, we're seeing huge sector-specific demand kicking in, too.
Ah, right. Like where?
Well, in healthcare, for instance, labeled data sets are powering real breakthroughs in medical imaging and drug discovery.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And in retail, they're enhancing personalized shopping experiences, powering those AI-driven recommendation engines we all, interact with daily.
So it's clear that the strategic investment in these labeling services is really helping industries stay ahead of the curve.
Seems like it.
It enables them to excel in things like predictive analytics and real-time decision-making. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it just shows how foundational these services truly are across diverse economies.
But of course, as with any rapidly expanding market, the path isn't always smooth. It can't all be easy.
No, definitely not.
So what are some of the key hurdles, the challenges we're seeing?
Well, yeah, there are significant ones. A big challenge is the high cost and the time-intensive nature of manual data labeling.
Right. Doing it by hand takes time.
A lot of time. And complex projects often need highly skilled annotators, which, as you can imagine, can become pretty financially burdensome.
Especially for smaller players.
Exactly. Particularly for startups or, smaller firms. This can often be a make or break factor for new AI initiatives.
Okay. Cost and time. What else? Because on top of that, there's this critical issue around data privacy and regulatory compliance.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge one.
Handling sensitive information, whether it's, say, biometric scans, personal images, or medical records, it requires strict adherence to regulations.
Like GDPR in Europe or HIPAA in the US.
Precisely. And this isn't just about ticking boxes for compliance, is it?
Not at all. It often means implementing costly anonymization techniques or setting up secure, auditable workflows that add significant time and financial burdens to a labeling project. It adds layers of complexity.
Okay, so cost, time, privacy rules.
And that leads directly to another bottleneck.
Yeah.
The shortage of skilled professionals.
The talent gap.
Yes, it's not just about finding annotators, it's about finding people with the right domain-specific knowledge.
Right, like not everyone can interpret a medical scan.
Exactly. Not every annotator has the highly specialized expertise needed to accurately label, say, a complex radiology image for a medical AI.
Or maybe pinpoint nuanced objects in footage for self-driving cars.
Precisely. And the consequence of that skill gap is severe.
Yeah.
You get inconsistent labeling.
Which messes up the AI model.
Completely. It hampers the accuracy and performance of the machine learning models. It's a foundational weakness that can totally derail an AI project if it's not addressed properly.
Wow. Okay, so those are some pretty formidable challenges. Cost, compliance, skills. But despite these hurdles, the market is rapidly evolving, right? Thanks to some truly groundbreaking trends that are helping overcome these issues.
That's right. There's a lot of innovation happening.
So what's leading the charge there?
Well, we're seeing a major development with the rise of automated and semi-automated labeling tools.
Okay, so using AI to help label data for AI.
Sort of, yeah. These aren't just small incremental improvements either. Take active learning, for example.
How does that work?
It's a technique where the AI model itself identifies the data points it's most uncertain about. It essentially tells the humans, hey, I'm not sure about this one. Can you label it for me?
Ah, so it guides the human effort to where it's most needed.
Exactly. It makes the human labeling process much more efficient. And alongside that, we have things like auto-labeling and transfer learning. These are truly streamlining workflows.
Helping organizations cut costs.
Yes, reduce costs and minimize that manual intervention, often without compromising the accuracy.
That sounds pretty transformative. The impact those tools could have on just the sheer scale and efficiency must be immense.
It really is. It allows companies to process vast amounts of data much faster than ever before. We're talking terabytes, where before it might have been gigabytes.
Okay, and besides these automated tools, we're also seeing more use of crowdsourcing platforms. You mentioned Amazon Mechanical Turk earlier.
Yes, that's another big trend.
How are those platforms changing the game?
Well, crowdsourcing is a fascinating example of how collective intelligence, lots of people, can be leveraged for data annotation.
Tapping into a global workforce.
Right. These platforms make it easier and faster to complete labeling tasks by tapping into a global pool of annotators, often working on small microtasks. And this approach is particularly effective for certain tasks, like maybe image classification, object detection, or sentiment analysis, where a broad consensus can be quickly gathered from many human eyes, so to speak.
Interesting. So, automation, crowdsourcing. What else? You mentioned something about specialization. Yeah, maybe what's most exciting is this transition towards industry-specific labeling solutions.
Ah, okay.
Ah.
Tell me more.
Companies are now tailoring labeling platforms, the tools themselves, to fit the unique needs of specific vertical markets,
Like,
like agriculture or autonomous vehicles, or maybe even legal tech. They're moving away from a sort of one-size-fits-all approach.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really shows a maturing market, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it's adapting.
Adapting to very specific, very nuanced needs. And this specialization, it directly increases precision.
Less room for error.
Right. It reduces deployment timelines too, and ultimately enables far more impactful AI applications across all these diverse sectors. It's really about making AI work better for unique use cases, leading to, real-world breakthroughs.
So, okay, let's try and sum this all up then. The data collection and labeling market. It's clearly being propelled forward by some groundbreaking innovations like those automated tools
Mm-hmm.
and by rising industry demand across all sorts of sectors, plus that foundational need for highly structured data in this age of AI.
Exactly. And while challenges certainly remain, cost is still an issue. Finding specialized talent, navigating that complex compliance landscape.
Yeah, those haven't gone away.
No, but the rapid evolution of the tools and the platforms, it promises a future where data labeling is hopefully more efficient, more accurate, and definitely more scalable than ever before.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to mull over. Considering how data labeling is becoming increasingly specialized, moving from general tasks to these highly nuanced industry-specific solutions, what does that tell us about the evolving relationship between human expertise and artificial intelligence? How might they collaborate in shaping the next generation of AI applications? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. This exploration was brought to you using exclusive insights from Cognitive Market Research.